G'day and welcome to the first instalment of the No Prior Opportunity podcast with me, Camo, and my mates Noah and Jacob. How we going, boys?
Good, mate. How are you?
Good to be here.
Yeah, good, boys. So we're going to be doing a quick rundown of the AFL round so far. But before we get into it, a quick reminder to all our listeners, wherever you are in the world, to stay safe during this hard time. Please reach out to us if you have any questions or you want some support. Hit us up on our email, which will be linked in our socials, if you have any questions or you want us to answer any topics. Enjoy the podcast. Let's get into it.
All right,
Jacob,
boys.
The first game analysis.
So first game we'll be covering is the St Kilda Sydney game. St Kilda, they can be the real deal this year.
They can.
They're going really well.
Yep.
I've got a good few wins. Since third on the ladder after the round, and they're doing absolutely superb. So their defence in the third quarter goes underrated, just goes on the wing. Because last year and previously, when they had bad quarters, they'll just get shitted on.
Yeah.
Now with the Brett Radden comes in, and when they have a bad quarter, they're stopping the opposition from scoring.
Yep.
So it's just doing them wonders.
All because of another one of those Hawthorn coaches, mate. All because of another one of those Hawthorn coaches.
Under Damien Hardwick, he's a mastermind guy.
Yes.
And in the last, 2 weeks in a row, in the last quarter, they just flew away. They're unstoppable in the last quarters. But one man
think is there that wasn't there last year?
A lot. We got more depth this year. Got the coaching, this new game plans, doing wonders.
I just feel like your younger players are starting to step up as well.
Hunter Clark, Nick Caulfield, they're doing.
Yeah, and it's starting to show, especially.
Especially the addition of Brad Hill, he adds to the pace of the team, which I think
Yeah.
a little bit.
I think, and with all the people that added in,
Yeah, exactly.
They're not just people that, let's just add these guys in. They add them in because they've got a purpose to where they're being added into.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
And one man who could have helped Sydney get back into it was Tom Papley. He was very quiet. He hit the one goal in the first quarter, and then he didn't get much touches after that.
Yeah, he had a quiet one.
You can't be going and showboating against the last best and fairest winner the week before and then not doing anything the next week. He sort of didn't back up his almost statement on the field, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Ben Patton doesn't have enough credit. He only kept Patley to one goal, and he was leading the Coleman at that stage before Josh Keating kicked ahead.
Very right.
Yeah.
Another thing to come out of that game is Jake Carlisle. He got fined for slapping Dane Rampy's hand during a little bit of a scuffle.
They call it a scuffle. It was more like a tea party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like it was the same when I can't remember how many years ago, but when Johnson was getting hit on his hand, and it was the same thing, and he got fined.
In the early 2000s, Brisbane, they were going at Nick Reil's shoulder because he did his shoulder. He hurt his shoulder in the game, and Brisbane were just going at both the Scott brothers were going at him.
Yeah, exactly.
You've seen all of these examples of that over the years, where you've got Luke Hodge, 2008 grand final. You know, he's got cracked ribs, and they've got into him and stuff, and yet, he still prevails.
Yeah,
exactly.
Dane Rampy, he was good.
He was. He showed potential in the start of the game, and then I don't know. He wasn't on his best game apart from when he played against the Hawks the week before, and he kicked a fair few and played one of his best games for the season, I think.
Yeah, another thing that helped St Kilda get over the line, not this week, the whole season, basically, where their wins is their accuracy. It won the best in the comp accuracy.
15-11.
Yeah. Yeah, they're on the best in the comp for accuracy because they're not taking shots outside 50 from the hardest angles from the boundary. they're taking nice and easy shots, which are helping them do good and helping them get the win.
See, the Swans, they kick 6-12, and that's a goal for every 2 points that they get.
Yeah,
and you see the Saints ended up winning by 53 points, which is practically double the score of the Swans. So it just goes to show how important straight kicking is.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it helps you win. If you don't kick straight, you lose the game. Simple as that.
Exactly right. Just like cricket, catches win your matches. Well, kick and set shots win your matches in AFL.
Exactly.
Next game, Noah, you're covering the Blues and Hawks.
Yes, I am. It was an interesting match. It was. Carlton got a great start. In the first quarter. What do we think of that, boys? First quarter from Carlton.
They were flying.
It was
unstoppable.
31 points in half a quarter of shortened football is definitely a positive for them.
It is.
Because if they can, keep them, it's very hard to keep momentum like that for a whole game on the pressure gauge and stuff.
Exactly.
But if they can, 3/4 that, 4/5 that, the whole game, they're golden.
Yeah, I know.
The first 10 minutes, the Hawks had no space to run into and stuff, and Carlton gets interception and ran it down the field quicker than Hawthorn.
What Carlton did that game, St Kilda have already done that twice this year. Get up to a good lead, 6-goal lead, and then just basically choke and lose. The other team get confident.
That's not just happened a couple times. That's kind of like it's becoming a reoccurring theme now.
It is. Yeah.
It seems to be sort of, usually you'd think if we're higher, if we're, as a Hawthorn fan, especially if we're winning, that's actually when I become most nervous.
Yeah.
Because the pressure, you got all the pressure goes on the winning team.
As a footy fan, as a fan watching my own team play, I would much rather the first quarter be closer than be a massive blowout. Because then, you don't, with the closer games, I feel like teams doesn't let them go. Like, they're always in the game. When if they're 6 goals in front, 5 goals in front, they sort of just slow down.
Yeah, exactly.
So closer games keep the momentum.
This saying that's been around for a very long time. I can't remember who said it, but it goes along as this, and it goes: if you are losing in a football match, add 3 goals to your score and see what the outcome is on the scoreboard. Because in football, it is very easy to get a quick run on and kick 3 on the trot, and it shows, especially in this round of football, how much that can help.
It does, and that's what Hawthorn managed to do in the second quarter. They stepped up and kicked 6 unanswered goals, just like that.
With Will Day's goal, I think that got the ball rolling. They all got around. They were all up and about.
Yeah.
I think they kicked another goal before score time.
Yeah.
And they took the moment.
Yeah. That was very big. But
so you'd see the default way to kick a goal. He would normal Hawthorn is just center at top of the square to get intercepted and concede up the other end. But he showed intrigue, curiosity, bravery. Because Isaac Smith was on the mark, he blocks him off, and it was a good finish.
Very good finish.
Especially, it was very, very brave because Will Day is, we all know, he's not like the biggest unit on the field.
No.
He's not bodying anyone. So, but to be able to use his speed to avoid the body and still get it from the tight angle, it was very impressive.
Yeah, it was. I just thought Paddy Cripps, he had a good start to the game. First quarter he played very well. Second quarter, he was a bit off, and
it's like as soon as Carlton started losing, he was having like brain fades or something.
He was. He had
on the whole team, and
when Carlton are up, he's doing good. When Carlton down, he's doing better.
Exactly.
He sort of has a team on the back.
Yeah, exactly. He had that when he had a few shots at goal. That one shot that he had at goal in the third quarter or something like that. He was going back, looked like he was going for goal, and he played on and just stuffed it up and then handballed it off, and they turned it over just like that. And I don't know what he thought he was doing. I thought
he was just trying to overdo it.
He was just trying to overdo it.
Uncharacteristically.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, they just started to lose their touch, really.
Especially for the Hawks, 4 losses in a row for the Hawks. And now to come in and get a convincing win on the final day of the month, going into a bye for a little bit of a rest from all the jetting around, I reckon it'll do them good squad confidence.
Yeah, it will. I just feel like the youngsters are starting to step up onto another level, and that's really helping out the senior players. But also it's good to see that the senior players are starting to get around the younger players a bit more and helping them out and making sure they're all
fines.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. We could go on about every game for about 2 hours, but we better move on so we don't get time caught here.
Yes.
So I'm covering the next game, and that was... Which one was it?
I don't know, mate. You'll tell me.
We got Giants Gold Coast. So, Giants, I wouldn't call it blowout to any extent, as the Giants are, as we all know, much better than their Suns, 26 points. I want to bring it to the, as we said before with the St Kilda game, the goal kicking accuracy, because you see Gold Coast, 4-11-35 to the Giants 9-7, and you look at that and you think, conditions might have been blah blah blah. Conditions, okay, you can blame conditions on certain occasions, but you look at the goal kickers and stuff. So you've got Jeremy Cameron and Himmelberg for the Giants, who have kicked 2 each. The Giants have 7 goal kickers in that team, with Jeremy Cameron and Harry Himmelberg getting 2 each. So 11 goals to 7 players. The Suns have 4 individual goal kickers.
I kicked 4 goals.
So there's 4 individual goal kickers for the Giants. You look at Ainsworth, King, Swallow, and Weller, and I would argue that Swallow and Weller are not even forwards.
Yeah, they're not goal kickers.
Yeah.
I mean, they might be.
Ben
not your known goal kickers.
Ben King, he's not playing for an amazing team in Gold Coast, but he certainly is, I think, a player that can definitely lift his game.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got much talent.
He's got a lot of potential.
I personally think that he can do better than his brother, but at the moment he's just not performing.
Yeah.
Mm. Both those King boys will be something to look out for in the future.
They will be.
They will be. And we go have a look at the disposal count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the Giants have 7 goal kickers. They also have the 7 highest disposal getters in that game. So you have Lockie Whitfield, who we all know is amazing. He's 29 disposals. He's 10 ahead of the highest Gold Coast player in Lukosius at 19.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe the work rate in the Suns might need to be upped a little bit.
It just I don't know. I just feel like that without Real, they've just gone downhill. Like they had a great start, and I thought they were on for a good season until
they need him to be
good players like Greenwood, McPherson.
They
They're not having that good of a game. With Real, he'll lift the side up because he's got that energy. He always gets that ball, gets the team moving. Just brings that extra dimension.
Yep. And I feel like that's what they're missing.
Not only is Raul going to ball chase it and just be like a workhorse all day, you could also, he's a big body. We'll compare him to Will Day, who's a year older than before. He's a much bigger body than Will Day and stuff.
Yeah.
And you can also, because of that, you can also put him as, I would say, a tagger if you need to. So you could put Raul on Whitfield and he would quiet down, or Josh Kelly or Hoppo, all these amazing Giants players. And then you got what we got here? Look, Toby Green. I don't think Toby Green kicked a goal, if I am correct.
He did his hamstring in the first quarter, Toby Green.
Yeah, so he's done his hamstring. But see, he's arguably the best player.
He's their most important player. He's their most important player.
And yet, without him in there, driving their forward line, they've still got 7 individual goal kickers.
Yeah,
away
exactly.
from their home, Gold Coast. So, yeah, it's a little bit odd.
Yeah, you would have thought they would have stepped up a little bit more, but with Jeremy Cameron being one of the best goal kickers in the league, normally very accurate, to only have one, I think, don't know, I just feel like their midfield game and, I don't know, it's just not gone as they would have liked.
Drink went on in the first quarter. He still had 6 disposals to his name, like for the match, 5 kicks and a handball. You look at the full forward for Gold Coast, Ben King. He kicked a goal, but he only had 6 touches as well. And that's what
those King brothers are. They're like the old forwards. Got 5 kicks, got 5 goals. Like Max King in the St Kilda game, he got 3 kicks, but he kicked 3 goals.
You look at Isaac Rankin. He got 9 touches, only a behind. A bit disappointing from him.
He's electric.
We better move on to the next one.
Yep.
Jacob.
So Essendon versus Brisbane.
Yeah.
Going into that game, we didn't know what Essendon was going to do. We thought they could have brought out a game, or they could have just completely let it go to waste, and that's what they did.
Yeah, well,
speaking about...
You go.
Okay, speaking about that accuracy, they kicked, what was it? They kicked 3-10. That's poorly. Yeah. That's -7.
If you're a neutral or unbiased fan, I think you could sort of see the downfall of Essendon. You know, last week travelled at Adelaide Oval in front of a full crowd. A bit nervy for them, first time probably in the whole season. But they have still only beaten the worst team in the current competition, which is Adelaide, at the time of recording, by 3 points.
Yeah, they've beaten the bottom 3 sides, or not bottom 3 anymore, but they've been Essendon. Not Essendon. What am I talking about? Essendon have beaten Sydney, North Melbourne, and Adelaide by a total combined of 15 points.
Exactly. And you look at this. So they've beaten Adelaide here by 3 points. Adelaide kicked 3 more behinds than they did goals. So if Adelaide had been just a touch more consistent in their game, they would have overrun them.
They're ninth in the ladder, but they've still got a game in hand. So they're going all right. But they do have some bright lights with Andrew McGrath. He's an absolute gun. He stepped up on the game in the weekend. I don't know. Don't know how many disposals he got, but he got plenty, and he got a few clearances to his name as well. So he's a bright light for them.
Yeah,
but there's been a lot of talk about. Go on.
I don't know. I just feel like Essendon were going alright at the start of the season. They were starting to build up potential. Fans were getting excited, and then it's just going downhill again. And then they've tried to rebuild, and just hasn't worked.
And there was a lot of talk of Sam Draper going into the game, and I reckon he might turn out to be something. He's very good, but he just needs growth. When he played forward line, he got a few marks, a few big clunks. He played in the ruck a little bit, and he's getting around the ground well. So he's something for Essendon to look up to.
Yeah.
In the future. But one man, I've got to ask a question to you two, is has Lachie Neale already secured the Brownlow?
I'm going to say no on this one.
No. Who's going to win the Brownlow then if he's not going to win it?
I don't know, but I just feel like at the moment he's been showing some good signs, and I just feel like he needs to get some more goals and start kicking more.
What foot are you watching? He got 33 disposals and 2 goals on the weekend.
Yeah, I know, mate. This was one of the games that he stepped up in. He hasn't.
I think the problem for Lachie Neale is not getting any. Oh, obviously you want to get better, but it's not his ability that's weighing him down. I think personally that it's his consistency.
So
he has games that he is really good.
Win the Brownlow?
I reckon he's favourite. Not saying he's going to win, but I think he's favourite.
And if he's not to win the Brownlow, who's going to win?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. He's favourite. But you think about this. We're recording this on the 2nd of August, and we're only halfway through the season.
But he would have locked up how many games? That's 9 games he would have played. he would have locked up 3 votes
Yeah.
in at least 6 of them. That's already 18 votes. And in
Yeah.
a short season, how much votes do you need to win the Brownlow? Not much.
Yeah, exactly. You do have to take into account the shortened season.
So he's already secured Charlie.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the same as Camo and say that he would be favourite. I'm not saying that he's won it already, but yeah. I don't know.
I don't know what footy you're watching. But
No, I don't know. It's just...
I think personally, I favourite him, but to see him, I want to see him grow even more as a player by consistently getting that many touches every week. Because let's be honest, he got 33 disposals in a shortened game, which is awesome. But he hasn't come up against, the biggest challenges. Like, we've got McGrath, who's like 8 disposals behind him.
He's blowing the rest of the competition out of the water. Lock him up. He's the one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are you calling it right now?
I'm calling it right now. He's won the Brownlow.
All right, I reckon we'll have to come back to this one when the Brownlow is announced, but I'm sure...
We look at Essendon next week, and they've got the Giants at Metricon.
Yeah.
So can Essendon bounce back? And 2, how will they do it?
No, I can't see them win that game.
No, neither can I.
Because personally, I give the Giants advantage because of their list and the fact that they played at Metricon the previous round. So they can't, get...
They're playing at Metricon again.
Yeah.
I cannot see...
Yeah, they got flying out. Remember the hub, they were in a rush too.
If Essendon kicks straight, who knows?
I reckon.
But if they're woeful on goal again, then...
The key one of the keys for Essendon is for McDonald, Tip and Woody to start playing some good footy.
He's playing good
lift
footy.
a little bit.
He is. He's playing decent footy. It's just the rest of the team.
The other team.
He's sort of in purgatory. So he's in between a good player and a superstar of the competition. He's not at that level just yet where we're able to comfortably say he's in the best 22 in the competition, because he's not. So
he's not.
I hope to see him live. No, at the moment he's not. He definitely has potential to.
Yeah, for sure.
And
what's the next game?
Go on to the next one.
Move on to the next one. Richmond and Bulldogs.
Thursday night classic.
That was a interesting one. It was a blowout in the end. Richmond...
Going into that game, I tipped the Bulldogs. I thought they were going to show something and then get over the line.
Yeah, right.
They just didn't show anything for it. Didn't show enough.
No.
That's why are they contenders or are they pretenders?
No.
Pretenders.
Yep.
Because they're not coming out week by week and producing the same footy.
No.
One week they might have an absolute mare of a game. Next week they come out. Looks like they're getting the Premier.
Then again, you can argue that that's also what's going on at Richmond, because Richmond about a month ago, Hawthorn got on a good win against Richmond by about 5 goals or so, and it was very out of character for Richmond. You know what I'm saying? It was no one went into that game expecting Hawthorn to roll them, but they did, and. But it's good. They look like they're getting back into their form now, and I would hope for Richmond fans' sake that they are.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just felt like that it could have gone any way, to be honest. It could have gone Bulldogs' way or it could have gone Richmond's way, and it really just came down to the day and who was prepared the most, and ended up showing that Richmond were prepared the most, winning 90-49, getting a big win. And one player who stepped up a lot is Dustin Martin. He's
very good game.
That game he had a very good game. Stepped up. He wasn't playing his best footy during the season. Obviously missing a few games, but he'd been playing average footy, and in this game against the Bulldogs stepped up and played one of his better games of his whole career, really. But, I just feel like he's starting to step up again and come back into his prime. What do you
One
boys
player
think?
that needs a step up is Josh Bruce.
Yes.
Yeah, he looked off.
He's an inconsistent player. Like a couple weeks ago, he kicked 6 straight against North.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done much then. That's the only thing he's done.
Yeah.
See, he's done hardly anything. He needs to step up. Like there was a lot of talk about him. Like, great pickup. Like Alex Keith has been a great pickup for Bulldogs, but Josh Bruce needs to step up and show his class.
He does. So we saw against when he was playing with St Kilda, he was great at marking, getting in, taking those marks and kicking fairly consistent.
That's one problem of his is consistency.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over last year,
I think Bruce didn't do much. When Josh Bruce plays with the Bulldogs fans, when they're actually filled in the stadium, I reckon he will start playing a lot better with fans watching him. Do you remember when he was at St Kilda? All the fans loved him. He had his goals and stuff. Yeah. I think what also happened in the Doggies game against the Tigers, see, the kicking accuracy in this game was actually, good standard. 7-7 plays 13-12.
Another thing.
But you look at 7-7. If the Dogs convert all of their 14 chances into goals, that still only gets them 84 points. So regardless of whether they kick straight or not, the Dogs wouldn't have won this game. They just needed more inside.
When Josh Bruce performs, Bulldogs perform. Go back to that game where he kicked 6. And he kicked 6 straight that game. They absolutely pumped North. And then they were talking about, look how good they are. But when he performs, Bulldogs perform.
Yeah.
You've got to put down the forward scoring to what's being dished out to them from the middies.
If they want to be so fun this year,
you think about what the Western Bulldogs would set up at a centre bounce. It would be Bailey Smith with Jack McRae and I would Bontempelli, right?
I went Dunkley. Dunkley's come back for tomorrow night's game.
Bontempelli or Dunkley, okay. Those players need to, I don't know, I think some weeks, that they just seem, at some days, they just come out not in sync, you know what I mean? They just seem all over the place sometimes, Doggies.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this here. I reckon the Western Bulldogs are one of, if not the most, inconsistent teams in the competition.
It's disappointing. If you're a Bulldogs fan out there, it'll be disappointing.
It is. I don't know anyone who hates the Bulldogs. They're a good club.
Everyone loves them.
They are.
But
exactly.
The fans, they're very disappointed.
Yeah, and you can tell a lot of them would be frustrated with the amount of games that they've had to watch and keep thinking that each time they're gonna come to perform, and just every week it just hasn't gone right for them. Apart from a couple of weeks where they've played well and they've got the win, but other than that, they've come to play and then all of a sudden they just drop off and that's it for the end of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It's just.
We're pushing on 29 minutes, so we should probably get on to the next one. I've got next the D's versus the Power. Big blowout by 51 points.
It's disappointing from the D's.
The Gabba for the Power. It was disappointing for the D's because I thought they had an all right last couple of weeks now. They beat Hawthorn a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that put a lot of confidence in them.
And then they made Brisbane earn the win.
Yeah.
The week ago.
Yeah.
So they look good going into the game. But they just didn't show anything.
Again, they're like Western Bulldogs in a sense, not game wise, but just in a sense of they've got the potential and they've got the players. They just haven't been able to step up in this game, and it just shows really that.
100% what's been noticed this season is that if Petrarca is on fire, the Demons are on fire. No one will stop Christian Petrarca if he is on point. I come back to my point that I made before with the kicking accuracy and what's being fed to the forwards. Demons only had 8 shots at goal the whole game. 12 shots at goal the whole, 12 scoring shots. That's 72
all right.
points if they kick straight. So they had 12 scoring shots. The Power had 12 goals, and they had 11 behind. So I say that if Petrarca's not on fire, the Demons aren't on fire, and Petrarca is one of the key players who has to kick the goals and provide them to the forwards. So,
and again, another story of not kicking straight.
Exactly. We're starting to see a common occurrence.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Double the amount of behinds. Some of them are maybe behinds or whatnot, but most of them, kick it, you miss it.
Yeah.
And a big talking point out of that game is Simon Goodwin. Does he stay or does he go?
Oh,
that's a good question.
Yeah, well, you see the Demons are sitting 15th at the moment.
Well, they finished 4th on the ladder. They made finals. When was it? Like a couple of years ago? Then last year they finished
2018.
18, yeah.
Yeah, and then the year after they just finished 16th. They fell in the hole. But some of their leaders are standing up. Jack Viney, he's had a good season today. Like a couple of not good, so good games, just like on the weekend. But he's stepping up. Like, they're stepping up, but they're not stepping up to a good, like a winning. They're not stepping up to a winning standard.
An AFL level, I'd say.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to the next one now. Jacob, you've got this one.
North Crows. This is the story of the week in this game. Magic Door come back.
Yeah.
First game in a long time. He played round 23, 2018. And then, so they absolutely blew Adelaide out of the water.
Yes, they did. It was a great win. It was good to see Mad Jack Door
and they
come back.
They kicked straight as well. They kicked a massive score of 119. 19 goals, 5. That's the story of kicking straight.
In short quarters, that's very good.
If you kick straight, it's very good where it leads you.
You think North Melbourne, 24 scoring shots, that's still very efficient. Only missing
10 more
5
scoring shots in Adelaide.
Exactly right. So you see, and I think now, even last season with the fuller quarters before the virus hit, no teams were getting to 119 a game or blowing it out by 69 points. In this
when I was watching that game, thing stands out, and it was probably not long ago, 2 minutes to go in the last quarter. They've already won it, but they were still taking the game on through the middle. I think they kicked a goal from a kick in down the other end with only touching the ball 3 times.
Adelaide's work rate, and this provokes me to ask the panel the question: is Tex done after this year?
I still feel like he's got a few years in him.
Do you think Tex Walker is done, or at least do you think he's done at least as the skipper?
I'm not too sure, to be honest.
He's already started skipping the team, isn't he? But he's not playing because he broke his wrist.
It's still Tex, is it?
Yeah.
Anyway, you get the point. Tex Walker, he seems
captain on the weekend.
Tex Walker seems a bit out of his range now. He doesn't. He looks struggling a little bit on physical capability. Doesn't seem to be leading the team amazingly.
It was good to see Bryce Gibbs out there as well.
Yeah.
No, it was.
It was his first game in a while. He didn't get that many touches. He did some good things.
Yeah.
One player who's very underrated is Jed Anderson from North Melbourne.
Isn't he just a workhorse?
Yep. He's very good.
He came from Hawthorn. See a common occurrence in that as well.
But then a big question on everyone's mind is, what's happening at Adelaide?
Yep.
You look at their list on paper and it's not that bad.
It's
you've got a couple. You've got
Brody Smith in the middle.
Yeah. You've got Sloan and Tex. You've got Keys, the new player. He is very good. I like him. Keys. You've got Brad Crouch.
You've got Riley O'Brien as well. He's all right.
You've got Tex Walker in the forward line. You've got the Riley O'Brien in the ruck. He's a unit when he wants to be.
That game, he dominated that game against St Kilda. I mean, he didn't dominate, but he was working around the field, taking big marks, getting taps, whatever, outs. He's doing really well.
Exactly.
So when he's on, he's doing well.
Yeah, exactly.
We should go on to the next one now. Noah, you've got the next one.
I do. It was a great match to finish the night. Sunday night footy. Collingwood and Freo.
Recording this half an hour after it's done.
It was a very, very good match. Tight match at the end. But I just felt like it was a bit sloppy. A bit of a sloppy play.
Which side?
Low scoring. But just consistent kicking from Freo, as we've seen
10
so far this week.
It's very good to watch for Freo fans,
yeah. 10 goals won is really good, and to see them back in form again after a few weeks of sloppy footy and not very good for the fans to watch.
A few weeks ago, we'll come back.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
If we look, let's see, how did Collingwood go last week?
They got absolutely pumped by West Coast.
That's right. They got pumped by West Coast.
What's happening there as well?
So I reckon I put this out to you two. I reckon at this moment, Jeremy Howe is the most needed player in the Collingwood team that isn't there.
Yeah.
You need the run.
He brings the next level. Like they've got Darcy Moore.
Darcy Moore is very good, but he can't do it by himself.
No.
Yeah, it's Jeremy Howe and Darcy Moore in the back line. They're scary.
Yeah, they are.
And then they also got Pendles out and Jordan Tagoe.
Yeah.
They've been rattled by injury. But should be an excuse for a team like Collingwood.
And again, one of the most important parts of an AFL club is the depth, and it's showing here right now that Collingwood doesn't have much of that.
And then at the moment, they're sitting 10th on the ladder at 18 points.
Yeah.
So
that's not a very Collingwood thing to do, is it?
No. So they need to pick up next week. Who are they playing next week?
Let's have a look at that.
Next week, I think they have a bye. I'm not too sure.
No, they play Sydney.
Where?
Sydney, at the
Where
Gabba.
Is it being played at? At the Gabba. Okay, so that's obviously that's a mutual ground for both teams.
Yeah.
That's their chance to get
step up,
back into
come back, show the fans what they're made of.
See, the Gabba's a little bit of a smaller ground compared to Optus, where they've been. And I reckon it'll help them because you've got these blokes like Darcy Moore and who's else? Who's in the middle?
Adam Treloar.
Taylor Adams. And so they like Collingwood like to go long. Grundy, kick it down the line to Grundy. It'd be good for Collingwood because they like long grounds to kick it high for the ruckman.
Yeah.
Because if you go to get, because at one time you can have Mason Cox and Grundy in the forward line at the same time, and no defense is stopping that at all.
Mm.
Yeah, it is a bit inconsistent, but I guess that's the way it goes. But I guess Freo, you go.
I think Freo. I think focus on. I think this will do Freo's confidence a wealth of goodness. This win tonight.
If you've looked on paper, they haven't been too bad. They came back from 5 goals down to beat St Kilda a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
They haven't been too bad, but they've been not good enough to win games.
Then again, as where it's like they've been in the contest, but they haven't been able to sustain them because as we're recording this, they are sitting second bottom behind Sydney.
And then the first few games, they lost to Freo. They lost to Freo. They lost to Essendon. And they lost to Brisbane. They only lost them by a couple of points. So they haven't been too bad, but they just need to play 4 quarters and kick straight.
Yeah.
What's special about this season is that you can't count any team out of it until mathematically possible. Because if we're looking at Freo on 8 points from 8 games, and Adelaide on no points from 9 games, Adelaide are only 5 wins off 8th spot, which we all know that a team can suddenly just snap into form like that.
Yeah.
Get on the run.
If they need to win the rest of the set, they can't lose a game from here. And they need to hope for results to go their way. If Adelaide
but
that's no.
It was good. It was good to see crowds back cheering on the Purple Army.
It was. It was
Yeah.
good to see. It was good to see that.
I love the win.
Yeah, I love watching the crowd be back again. Just
Yeah.
wishing it was us there.
Yeah.
So come on, mate. You got the West Coast Geelong game.
To end us out, personally, I
Last
reckon it was
game.
game of the round. For me, I reckon it was my game of the round. The Eagles versus the Catters at Optus.
Yep.
So let's have a look at this. 33 point. No, fuck. I'm in the wrong round, boys.
It was
Oh, my
9
God.
points by the Eagles.
There we go. Thank you. 9 points by the Eagles. I think what was the kicking look like? Kicking
11-7
good by both
10-4.
teams. It was good by both teams. 11-7 to 10-4. 10-4. So only 9 points. My first initial comment after watching this game that I noted down was the amazing ruck work by Nat Nick. He dominated both all night. Geelong kept trying to swap their ruckmen around
one of
between
the best.
Blitzars and Radicalia.
He's one of the best.
Geelong kept trying to swap around between Blitzards and Radicalia to get that, see who would do better. But in reality, and the truth is that none of them did better. Because you look at Nat Nui had 34 hitouts with 10 disposals. And he's I noticed especially his jumping so much more elite.
He's the best tap work ruckman in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's very good. And but he's also, you see here, he's got the same exact amount of disposals as Blitzars, 6 kicks, 4 handballs, one less than Radicalia. But you put both the Geelong rucks together, and they only get to you 26 hitouts to 34 from Nat Nui. So not only have West Coast had to go to a second ruckman, they've been able to stay on one and smash Geelong really in a 1v2 in the centre of the ground.
Yeah, he's just on another level, to be honest.
He was. Josh Kennedy the Coleman favourite this year?
At the moment, yes.
Yeah, I would say so as well.
4 goals.
He's kicked 11 in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
You think 4 goals this week is an extraordinarily good
He kicked
effort?
7 straight last week.
Yeah. Well, you look at Papley.
Exactly right.
You look at Papley and you think he might have kicked a fair few against Hawthorn, but you look at Josh Kennedy and his consistency is just that amount of goals each game, and you look at Papley and he scored one game he might have scored 7 goals and the other he might have scored 1. So it's like you need that consistency where you need to score at least 3 to 4 a game or even more if you're able to.
The thing that I see as West Coast pushing, how should I put this? The Eagles, that's how I see them scoring at the best. The connection between Josh Kennedy and Jack Darling.
Yeah.
Jack Darling goes very underrated for me. He's in the shadow of Kennedy, but in reality, they're both just as good as each other. They're tall, they can mark, they can kick, and they can get ground balls pretty well for the big blokes.
The Eagles will be playing the next 5 games at Optus Stadium.
That's
basically guaranteed 5 wins. Because they're home fans, got the crowd there. So at the end of the season, they could easily be finished minor premiers.
Yeah.
That's to say if Port Adelaide start. So Port Adelaide, I think they're going to have to eventually go away from Adelaide, aren't they?
Port Adelaide's only on top by a percentage. Because Brisbane's second, both on 10 points.
Yeah. And
let's have a look at next week's games.
All right, I think
let's go next week.
We'll move to the tipping. Who have we got, boys? Who have we got?
I'll read out the games, and you guys tell me why you've selected who you've got. All right.
Rightio.
All right. So, Port Adelaide and Bulldogs. For me, I've gone Port Adelaide because I just can't see the Dogs coming back against the top team. What about you guys?
How much have you tipped them by though?
How much did who win by?
How much have you tipped Port to win by?
I tipped Port Adelaide by 34.
Right.
This game I'm going for Port. They're not going to be in Adelaide Oval. Playing a doggy side with no confidence after loss to the Tigers.
How much? How many points do you think they'll get over by?
Or they'll probably win by 4 goals.
4 goals? 24 points. Yeah. No, what about you?
I'm going for the underdogs, boys. I'm going for the doggies.
Oh, jeez.
I'm putting them up by 10 points. I reckon they're...
Doggies by 10 points.
I have a feeling they're going to get up and they're going to show their confidence. And I know that they haven't been playing their best footy. And Port Adelaide are the talk about team, and it's at Adelaide Oval. I just have a feeling that they're going to be the underdogs, and they're going to come out and they're going to absolutely fire up, and they'll get the win. I reckon the team will rev up, and I don't know. I've just got that gut feeling that they're going to get the win.
Yeah, he's all right.
Josh have a good day.
So the next game on the agenda is Brisbane Tigers, and that is at
It's a good game.
Metricon. Who do you think?
If that was at the Gabba, I would be tipping Brisbane. But with the form Richmond's coming
That's
off,
what I'm
it'll win.
going for as well.
If the form's coming off, I'm tipping Richmond.
That's
because
I've
they're
gone
form
off.
from last
I've gone off. Even though it's a little bit hard to this season's consistency, I think Richmond at a neutral stadium against the Lions, I just think that would be too strong in the end. You think you've got Lachie Neale, who's carrying Brisbane. You've got Dustin Martin, who's carrying Richmond. They're both good in their own aspects, but if you're having a one-on-one battle, Dustin Martin's obviously gonna, physical. His physicality is way too much for Lachie.
No, mate. Where you going with?
I've gone with Tigers as well. Yeah, I'm the same. I feel like if it was at the Gabba, it could have been a different scenario, but I just feel like Richmond, off their form, I feel like they're going to come in and have a good win.
Okay, Wednesday evening footy, Geelong versus North Melbourne at the Gabba.
Oh, I've gone for North on this one.
What?
I've gone for North.
I rate that.
They've come off a good win against Adelaide. They've crunched them, and I know that might have been the one game that they might be crunching them. But I'm going with North Melbourne after Geelong had a loss to West Coast Eagles. I have a feeling North Melbourne will come out and have a win.
No, I'm going the other side. Going for Geelong. I'll bounce back.
I think, especially seeing as Geelong lost the previous round, that's going to make them very hungry for revenge on the competition. And let's be honest, if North Melbourne play at their best football, it's nowhere near the level of Geelong's best football.
You could argue that.
Next.
I will argue that.
This next game, Adelaide Melbourne. I'm tipping Adelaide. I'm tipping Adelaide.
I've gone for Melbourne, yep.
I've gone for Melbourne.
I've gone for Adelaide.
I'm going for Melbourne only on the fact if Christian Petrarca turns up, I think Melbourne will have a field day. If Christian Petrarca does not turn up, I think Adelaide could snatch it because they only lost to Essendon by 3 points, and Essendon are percentage of 8 of the 8.
This game,
looking at it now,
they're not just that; they're one game down, I think. Still, so
this game is at Adelaide Oval. Yeah, Essendon one game, so we've got one game in hand. But this game's at Adelaide Oval. The big crowd in cheering Adelaide on. They did play good against the Saints and Essendon when they played at Adelaide Oval with the crowd.
Yeah.
So I reckon the crowd will get the main line on against Melbourne.
Yeah.
Thursday footy.
Thursday night footy.
City.
Who have we gone with, boys?
I'm going with Collingwood.
Yeah, something like Collingwood too strong for the Swans. I think they've got the defenders. Personally, I think they've got the defenders to take on.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that one. I've gone with the Pies as well.
Happily, it's the only one in form for them at the moment.
Gold Coast, St Kilda.
I've gone for the Saints. Gold Coast have been playing pretty sloppy and haven't been playing at their best, and I still feel like they'll put up a fight, but it won't be as good.
I went for the Saints.
But I feel like the Saints.
However, I recall, I think famously, was it last season, Jacob? The Saints had a last-minute clutch goal and they wanted it.
Yeah, Jade Gresham last season, and they beat Gold Coast by 1 point, and first time and second time we beat them by a goal. Wasn't that much?
Yeah.
So I reckon this time St Kilda beat them by a bit more because they've got that confidence going into the game. They've got the new players, got the new coach,
and
new game
plan.
plan.
Again, if Gold Coast want to turn up, turn up, they can do a number on the Saints if they have a bad day.
Yeah. Alrighty, final Friday night footy.
To round it out, gee, how funny is that? How we're saying that the round ends on a Friday night. How many times are you going to say that again?
Very odd.
Giants versus the Bombers at Metricon. I've gone Giants.
So have I.
think the Bombers will be able to overcome the Giants.
Giants, yeah, coming off some good form.
Yeah.
And I think one of the key men for me in the Giants, you've got the midfield who supply it to the forwards. And everyone looks, Jeremy Cameron is the best forward. The most underrated forward at the Giants is Jeremy Finlayson.
Yeah.
He is very good over the head, and if he gets a set shot, he's very accurate.
He is.
I don't ever recall him missing too many in a game.
Yeah.
So that's why I've gone Giants. Jacob?
Yeah, Giants, mate.
Yeah.
So we're coming to the end of episode number 1 of No Prior.
To the end. Thank you for joining. Now, remember, if you have any topics that you want us to discuss revolving around the AFL world, please shoot us an email at nopriorpodcast@gmail.com. That's NOPRIOR podcast@gmail.com, all lowercase. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the week of footy.
Have a good one. Good luck to your team.